Welcome to Divine Love Talk with Dr. Parthenia Grant, where we talk about health, well-being, and the love of the divine that exists in all of us. Now, here's your host, Dr. Parthenia Grant.
Hi there, it's Dr. Sarah Larsen, and I'm so grateful that you're listening to us today. We're in studio, and we are going to cover New Year's resolutions and how to be the most effective in the new year coming up. It's such a joyous season for us here. We're in California in the beautiful studio here in CRN. And with me again is my favorite person on the planet, which is really, really lucky because we happen to be married. Greg Larsen is in studio, and he's been so effective for helping me in every area of my life. And I'm so excited to share how many breakthroughs we've had in our life, just resetting every new year. We've become more and more capable every year, and capable for ourselves, capable for our clients. Greg Larsen, you cutie patootie, welcome to the studio.
Oh my gosh, I'm a cutie patootie now. I don't know about that. I would say you Norwegian, you tall and handsome Norwegian, you know.
Okay.
Leader, effective
it's so
leader.
True, effective leader. This morning, the garage door wouldn't open, and it's such a funny thing because I'm like, I have this silly belief system that bad things happen in threes, and a couple weeks ago my tire blew out. Last week my purse was taken out of the car, and this week the garage door didn't open. And with all three of those, my beautiful tall Norwegian came through and just caused some miracles to happen. And so yes, I shall call you the
miracle
Nordic
girl.
Yes,
Nordic miracle
the
worker.
Nordic god in studio with us, Greg Larsen.
I like that better than cutie patootie. You can call Tyler, who's 8, a cutie patootie, but I've evolved beyond that.
Okay, so that is so great because it's one of the things that we've been talking about as a thing for ourselves this year is precision in language. All of the things that we're just implementing coming into this next year is all of these principles. And I love the way that you talked about you could aim for weight loss, or if you could share just a little bit about what you were sharing.
Yeah, because one of the key focuses for the new year for me, and something I know you're also passionate about, is being effective.
Yes.
Not more effective or not. I'm going to be as, I guess it comes from the book, Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes.
We're looking for what's the word that would be just so motivating and so, something I really connect to. And that word for me this year, right now in my life, is effective. Because there's so many things happening with our family and with professionally and all of our goals that we have this year.
Yes.
And it's like, wow, I'm going to have to be effective to get all that stuff done and to do it in a way that's powerful, that communicates, that is transformative.
It's such a beautiful word. And we were talking off air about, like, one of my personal goals is to be a weight loss, and another one is to be more organized in my closet and in my space. And another one of those is to have more time with the ones that I love and care about. And under this umbrella of being effective, Greg really pointed out, weight loss is a goal that's kind of out there, whereas be effective is a moment-to-moment thing, bringing in the moment, in this moment, being effective. And last year, the mantra that really was, how is life calling me to serve? Mm-hmm. And throughout last year, this mantra of how is life calling me to serve really sharpened the skill set of being able to adapt and morph into whatever was necessary at that moment for the greatest good. And so I'm so excited about sort of not having a goal or a resolution, this end result, but rather a moment-to-moment call to action. Be effective coming in, and for weight loss, or having my closet be organized, for having more time with the ones that I love. That being effective really means utilizing the energy and the resources in the given moment for the ideal outcome.
I think that's it right there, because like you're saying, it's in the moment. Like I can take a breath right now and go, how can I be effective with all the things that are happening? I can't be 10 pounds lighter right now.
Yes.
That's a journey I have to go on to be, if I want to be 10 pounds lighter. But I can be effective right now. And there's things that I can turn to and look at and go, there you go, I can be effective at this area right here. And communicating by email to clients, or I can be effective with, with managing all the activities of our household, with all the activities of our kids. There's things that I can do that would allow me to be effective in those areas right now.
And it's such a beautiful, and then our second principle that we're really applying into our life this year in a congruent, amazing way is the integrity, to be in integrity.
That's a huge one, because, when you tune in most every situation, you can tell whether you're in integrity with it or if you're out of integrity, whether you're having a conversation or if you're going, shopping, whatever that might be. It's like you can almost tune in and tell, is what I'm doing now, is shopping for a new pair of shoes, am I in integrity? Is that something that feels like I'm in integrity doing this? And you can just ask yourself that question. You can pretty much tune into your intuition and go, I could be doing something else that would allow me to be
in integrity, and to be in that envelope of being effective. Am I being in integrity? And some of those things really connect to friendships and relationships. And I've found that any area of my life that's not flowing easily and really effectively, I'm out of integrity somewhere in there. Either I haven't really clarified what I want or what I intend to create, or I'm not my languaging, my way of being around it hasn't showcased my true value system. And so, if there's friendships that people or places that I wind up going to based out of, obligation, I'm out of integrity with myself. If I've given my word to someone and I'm not showing up and I don't do the things necessary to correct that situation, I'm out of integrity. And it winds up being such a way to gently guide myself back into my core, the way that I want to show up in life. Being of integrity is, when I give my word, it's one of the most important things, even if it's 5 years later. If I've given my word, I intend to, and I do show up with whatever promises that I've made. It's one of the things that I really, truly enjoy about myself, but it really came out of this situation of being in integrity. And every time I make a mistake, I wind up, really sharing from the space of what I feel, being vulnerable around it, when being able to share the exact feelings that created the situation. And for me, that puts me back into integrity with myself and integrity in those relationships.
Yeah, what you're talking about there is so key, because this is the perfect time of year to really, to as you start to embody this experience of integrity, as we're doing right now, it's like, boy, where in my life do I need to clean something up that's out of integrity? before the new year begins, before this new burst of energy begins, what do I need to clear up? So that's what we're both doing right now, is evaluating our lives and looking where we're out of integrity, and what can we do in the next week to bring that area back into integrity. So as we move forward, in a sense, we've cleared up, if you want to call it karma, you might be able to call it that. Or you're just out of integrity. You know you're out of integrity with that person, with that situation, with that specific area of life. So what can you do? And if there happens to be many, because there's probably many in my life as I look at my own life, where it's like, what ones are the most important? What ones are the most important that you need to clear up? So as you head into the new year, you can be on focus with being effective around a certain area that you want to improve.
And I really love the new. I love ancient history, and I love traditions. And so for me, the gateway opening into the new year really tends to be from around January 1st until we celebrate the Chinese New Year. And there is this time frame of, within the Chinese culture and the next year coming up, like touching everything in your house, cleaning things up, celebrating, sweeping, clearing. And so I really use this time from right around the holiday season all the way into the Chinese New Year to really get into integrity, into, and we're calling it so powerfully this year, but really, clearing and touching everything that I own, cleaning up the space, all the relationships that are really important to me, to make sure that I maintain them, connect with them during this time. And then all of the information, all of the intentions, all of those are really clearly put into precise language or precise wording before the Chinese New Year, somewhere in my environment.
That's beautiful, yeah. And then, like you just said right there, because the third focus of ours is precise language, to find the most precise language to use in communicating, because for whatever reason we've had some disagreements of late, and it seems to us that it's like we're not clearly communicating. We're not using the precise language needed in order to share what it is we're feeling, therefore creating confusion, and therefore, creating these disagreements in a sense.
And it's that languaging. And one of, this is one of the things that I do with, clients quite often. They'll come in and they'll say, oh my God, the way that my husband speaks to me is killing me. And they'll say, the way that this situation is just like a noose around my neck. I can't breathe. And describing things, they'll go really into, it's like, I'm being choked. And when you think about, when you're saying that over and over again, the same languaging, my husband is killing me, you literally are creating that spell on yourself. And when I ask a client to share and we tap into what's happening there, it'll turn out something like, because he's not watering the garden in the morning, I'm not able to go out and meditate in comfort. And that winds up showing up. And if you change the language, it changes the effectiveness that you can be with each other. And so, Greg and I, when we communicate, we really ask to make sure the other person understood what's being heard. And so we're going to talk about so many more things that we're doing in the new year and ways that we're taking on wrapping up the tail end of this year. We're so glad that you're with us. This is CRN. I'm Dr. Sarah Larsen in studio with Greg Larsen. Just so grateful for CRN Network and Divine Love Talk. It's Dr. Sarah Larsen in on Divine Love Talk with Greg Larsen in the studio. I'm just so excited to talk with you on air, and I love our ability to be really transparent for those that we care about. And so off air, we were just sharing, should we talk about what the fights have been like? And what that's been like over, it's just been maybe over since Christmas.
It's really since the day I started eating sugar again.
So, prior to Greg going to Norway, which was in November to early December, Greg was on this really paleo, sort of this raw paleo connection. Lots of raw vegetables, plus the paleo no carbs of any sort, including fruit, including just low glycemic index vegetables and meat. And after I returned, while he was in Norway, I went to Atlanta and to New Orleans for my grandfather's funeral. When we came back, he came back on sugar, and we had a completely different experience of life.
I don't know about completely different. I wouldn't go that far, but it was there's definitely been, and part of it may be with all the busyness of the holiday season and stuff like that, but there's definitely been some more explosive moments in our relationship.
I would call it more, for me, it has been completely different, because there was the moment that my grandfather existed in this realm, and him communicating with me from the other realm, and really that the effect that his passing has had on me has a new, it is a different world completely. And so, precise languaging for me would really involve really restating that it's been a totally different world for me since coming back. It's like, oh my gosh, because he was such a strong man and figure in my life. My father, my grandmother, and my grandfather, the first earliest years of my life I was with my grandparents. And so, and my parents were very young when they had me. And so it is a completely different world for me. And when we came back, the earliest part, I was like, baby, I love you on sugar. You're like, so the tone, the volume, there was sort of this uncertainty that comes in, playfulness that comes in, sort of, cause I like sugar and I like sharing sugar, and we got to share that again. And so that was a different experience, but it really left, and for me, it makes, and this is scientifically shown as well, parts of your brain are not available when you have more than about 24 grams of carbs, 24 grams of sugar in a 3-hour period. And so that, and we were having a lot more of that during this period. And so we couldn't even access parts of our brain that are normally available for us. And I think about all the cookie trays that we used to eat for the holiday season before. I mean, we still had cookie trays and we still had lots of sweets. But that's really one of the things that resulted in us not being able to control our emotions.
Yeah, I think, it's, there was some conversations yesterday around AA type things, and it's like, I'm a sugar addict. I have no power. I think that's one of the first steps of AA is to admit that you have no power over your addiction.
Yes.
And I am truly a powerless individual around sugar. And so I experienced 5 months of almost no sugar at all. Like you said, no fruit even.
Yes.
The closest I would have gotten to sugar is probably peanuts. That was my one weakness, was eating shelled peanuts. But when I look back now, I not only did I feel a lot better, and did my body trim out, and I wasn't carrying this kind of this I wasn't forcing my body to go through all these unnatural processes of storing fat or converting all this sugar, because I was just like living such a clean lifestyle. And
That's so beautiful. And we've got, when we come back after break, we're going to talk more about things that we're shifting in the new year, including that sugar, our relationship to sugar, and more stories. I like talking about this juicy stuff on air. So some juicy stories coming up for you as soon as we get back. We are Divine Love Talk. We're sending out a shout out to Dr. Parthenia Grant, who is such a delightful being. And I know she will be back next week. This is Sarah Larsen, Dr. Sarah Larsen with Greg Larsen in studio. It's Dr. Sarah Larsen in studio with the Nordic god, Greg Larsen. We have been becoming more and more effective, more and more in integrity and precise with our languaging. And that's what we're moving into the New Year's with. We're getting really crystallized and focused. And we're so excited to share with you other things that we're doing in the new year coming up that are really setting us up for the most amazing new year. The word resolution is re-solution. It really is looking at the areas that are not the most moving in the easiest flow. We looked at those areas and we came up with a definition. This is sort of the problem. And when we looked at and really got clear about what the problems were, we then found solutions. And every day, every morning, since we've declared this, we've been talking about and really languaging it with each other, sharing it with each other. And we highly encourage you to pick a partner to go through these solutions that you're coming up with, and the ones that we're sharing with you are really working for us to asking ourselves, how can I be effective, more effective in this moment? Am I in integrity? Is this going to lead me to more integrity? Is this the most precise language? Can I be more precise with my languaging? Those are just questions that we're asking ourselves and we're committing to every morning. And I really encourage you to pick a partner that you can do these resolutions with, rather than saying a thing of losing 10 pounds, going to the gym every day, really defining for yourself solutions and partnering with someone to really anchor those in on a daily basis. We're going to talk more and share more about our personal life and some of these stories. We travel the world. We get to take our teachings to Egypt, to Italy, to Norway, to throughout this country. And it's such a beautiful experience that we have just at the level that we're doing right now. And next year already promises trips to other great destinations to bring these teachings. As a married couple with 2 children, 10 and 8, out working 2 businesses, multiple people relying on us, clients and friends, really being leaders in our community. A lot of people, and we're so grateful to be able to do that. When people need help, when our friends need help, clients need help, we're able to bring and show up with our community. Yesterday we were headed to a gathering, and one of our friends called with an emergency, and we were able to call people and have her scooped up, her and her lovely child picked up, and the community gathered to take care of them. And one of the things that we're really offering is ways to build a little community around yourself. Those processes really start with being vulnerable. We had to call friends and say what was going on. our friend had to call us and share what was going on in her life. And just precisely, we called our friend and said, we care about this person so much. Can you please show up for them? Because we're in another part of the Los Angeles area. We can't get back. I called it road tripping to this location. We road tripped for an event, and they were able to scoop up. And this is not the first time the community's shown up that way, but one of the things, we just share what's working, and we openly ask for what we need, and we show up for the friends in our life.
Community is so important. You know, we've had a lot of experience with that because we've had some birthday parties for our children, and we had a party Christmas Day, and then a party over the weekend on the 27th for our nephew, Alex. And so we've had lots of our community around us. And so we're blessed to have that. And that's, it's apparent that not everybody does that, but we've put a lot of focus and energy onto creating community and building community and sustaining community. So this might be a good time for you to look at your life and how are you committing energy to building and creating and sustaining community, because ultimately, there might not be an exact need today for all the different ways a community can serve you, but most likely, in the course of this upcoming year, there'll probably be occasions that arise when you could really use the help of friends or really use the support of a community for your spiritual life, for your children, whatever that might be. And so what can you do right now to begin laying the foundations for a more powerful community experience that can support you and that you can offer support to?
We love this thing on the internet called meetup.com. Meetup.com is a website that lets you put in your zip code and you put in your interests. And so you can put in dancing, or you can put in cooking, you can put in knitting, you can put in gardening, you can put in hiking. And some of those, it will show you groups that have been set up. I went to Wyoming, Minnesota. My husband's family, Greg's family, is from there, and I put in our zip code, and I found, and I put in homeschooling moms, and I was able to find groups to connect with in Wyoming, Minnesota right away, communities that had already been built. That's one of the ways to start meetup.com online. Another way is to look in your neighborhood and see what communities, what signs are up, whether they're churches or whether they're libraries, or whether there are school gardens, which right in your neighborhood, look for the signs that are asking for you to join their community. This next year, more than ever, we're going to be able to connect at the deepest layers, because society has all of these challenges. And as long as we're able to share from a heart space what really something means to us, what means something to us. So when we can share what something means or how we feel about something, that's truly being vulnerable. So when you're walking into a space, walking into a gathering by yourself, if you walk in and the first warm person that you see, you say to them, I'm a little bit nervous about being here. I really want to invite community into my life, but I never do these sorts of things. And letting sort of the community there know how you're feeling in the first couple of minutes, someone that looks warm for you to talk to, and allowing yourself to be graciously graced in to the community. I used to have a hard time going to places by myself. And part of that was fear, and part of that was not feeling worthy. And so in those situations when I walked into places and everyone looked so well put together, I'd walk up to a warm person and share, wow, everyone here is so beautiful. I feel a little intimidated, or I feel a little scared. And the second I shared that, sort of the spell that I'd cast over myself that had me in this fear space, or the way that that person responded, really opened me up to feeling a little sense of, it's okay, you're in the right place, this will be an okay moment, you'll get through this. And lo and behold, multiple showings ups, multiple times of showing up, and multiple times of just sharing my feelings created that community.
That's powerful, yeah. And it's that's definitely an approach to take. There's several approaches, and there's one that's right for everybody who's listening and who wants to begin creating that. So, again, as we've been sharing here, our effect or being effective is our mantra for this upcoming year, and we have a awesome community, a big community, an extended community, and so. But if not, maybe that can be a focus for yourself this year, is creating community. That can be a mantra, creating community. How can you begin giving your time and attention and awareness to that experience so you can create the community? Because the humans developed in community, they evolved in community, and nowadays, because we've been having these conversations, it's very easy to be isolated in today's world because we're not as dependent, in a sense, for those interactions on a daily basis, or we're not in smaller communities. We're in very large communities, especially in Los Angeles, and it's very easy to isolate yourself because you can take your money and go buy the necessities you need, in a sense, you can even buy them through Amazon and have them delivered. You can just look through the window and have the guy set them down on your porch. You can go get your food or whatever it is. It's so easy to be disconnected from community nowadays. And so, what can you do to re-engage in community building for yourself?
And those are really this word that we're also taking on this year, response and ability. Our relationship in the past with finances and with money and with it's just been kind of fun without being really precise. But lately, through being more effective in integrity, precise languaging, we're getting really focused on the ability. Response is really choices. Response is making decisions. A response, that word, what it means really is having a lot available as a choice. It's ways to create the next thing going forward. Response and ability is really a capability, a capacity. And we're looking at our money as the more we have, the more response we're able to give out to our community. And one of the things that we're looking for in our community is to be able to care for and love and generate for more people exactly what it is that we want to give. Both of us have been part of nonprofits for so long, and with time and with money and with resources, but we're really increasing the level with our relationship to looking at through community, the responsibility, being able to respond means having more resources. And what are resources? People, friends, community, money, creative ideas, solutions. Everything that's come out into the world in physical form really started in a space of thinking about it first, of spiritually feeling a need for it, and emotionally getting energy behind it. And so the more responses, and the more that you look at everything that you're creating, it doesn't matter what happens, it's how you respond to it. And the more able you become this year through those response abilities, the more capable you are of giving and creating for your community.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's a word that's really, or that the way that we are approaching that word responsibility. Your ability to respond is huge, and the focus we're putting on is increasing our financial well-being, so we have more abilities to respond in a powerful way, to affect change, to inspire, to transform, all of those things that can come about through greater financial resources. And so, but you can apply that to any area of your life. By eating less sugar, I'm able to, my responsibility is increased tenfold. Or, there's so many ways where you can increase your ability to respond in a powerful way to life. And so, it just doesn't have to be financial resources, but having greater degrees of health, having, more expanded networks of community. So if you have an idea of, serving in this way, you can reach out to your community and increase your responsibility to affect change and to share love, to share, it might even be food or something, just very basic elements of human sharing. You're able to give in a greater way because you yourself have increased your capacity to respond in that area.
And so that is just so beautiful. We've got just a few more minutes, and I want to make sure we cover the 7 areas of highly effective people. It's something that we're sharing with our kids, and it really has become a language for us to share value systems and share things. And so when we come back from break in a minute, we'll cover maybe the first 3 now. The first one, be proactive. The second one,
just begin with the end in mind. And
the third one, putting first things first. When we come back from break, we'll talk about the rest of these and more. You're in studio with Greg Larsen and Dr. Sarah Larsen on Divine Love Talk. We are just so glad that you're with us. We're wishing you the best possible outcome from every moment and the best possible year coming up for you. Please come back. We're so glad you're here.
465-9720. Call Sears now and get that roof repaired. Call 888-465-9720.
It's Dr. Sarah Larsen, and we are talking about New Year's resolutions, the 7 habits of highly effective people. Be proactive. Number 1. Number 2, start with the end in mind. Number 3, first things first. And number 4, think win-win. Number 5, seek first to understand. Number 6, synergize, honor differences. Number 7, sharpen the saw. And those are online. I know we've got them.
Well, Dr. Stephen Covey, he wrote the book. He's got, he's lots of resources out there, books on tape, videos. I mean, the Covey Institute does so much. Or the Franklin Covey, I think.
Franklin Covey, Institute does such a great job of, and we really want for you to have the best year possible. And Living with Tolle, your website, livingwithtole.com, has so many podcasts on how to be in the moment. It interviews beautiful people. Just the vision that website has created. When a podcast comes out there, it's usually ranked higher than Oprah's or Eckhart Tolle's podcast. And so that's livingwithtole.com. Greg Larsen can be found there, and his great work along with Leo Ristamagno. And then my website is just my name, Dr. Sarah Larsen. Sarah with an H, Larsen with an SEN.com. We have great things up there for you to really start out the new year. There's a video up, and we'll put that up on Divine Love Talk. Please like us on Facebook, and we will put great content out. There is a video on how to begin your new year, how to let go of old things. And I will put that up for you on Divine Love Talk. Let's talk a little bit about the first one, because that be proactive, the 7 habits in this time that we have left. What does that mean to you?
You know, that's where it all begins right there is, because we're, even someone reached out to me by email yesterday. It was like, help, I'm so stuck. And so there's this feeling that we're stuck. There's this feeling within that we're not where we want to be. There's this feeling within that we're not as effective as we could be. There's a feeling within that we're not experiencing love, giving love or receiving love as much as we could be.
Yes.
And because there's a level of being stuck in those areas. And so that person was proactive. They were, she said she saw some videos on YouTube and then went through this process of writing an email, sharing a little bit about her situation. And so she's beginning this journey of being proactive.
And being able to get the help. And so that's an example of being proactive. Going for a walk. For
many things.
It can be many things. But reaching out, we are here to help you. My number, my cell phone number actually, 424-903-6633, 424-903-6633. We are making ourselves available to you so that you can have the most powerful new year. And we're committed to helping you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Dr. Parthenia Grant. Thank you, Divine Love Talk and CRN. Thank you, Greg Larsen with Living with Tole, for making yourself available for this show.
You're so welcome, Dr. Sarah Larsen.
Yes, and I'm sort of ending on a song in my heart. Call me and I'll call you back. Reach out and we'll reach back. We love you, and happy New Year. Happy everything.
Happy New Year, everybody.